Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lost Engine Outpost. My name is Spada. This is just a vlog. This is mostly intended or fully intended for those of you that are a part of my community and are kind of wondering where I've been and if I have plans for the channel and what those plans are. What I wanted to do is basically fill you guys in a little bit on where I've been and kind of what I'm thinking about my content creation going forward. To start off, where I've been, I've just been busy. Having a full-time job where I often work overtime, and on top of that, having a family to be present for and to be supportive of. It doesn't leave me a whole lot of free time to just do whatever I want whenever I want. But when I have had free time, I normally spend that on a range of different hobbies, right? That could be, I could be spending that time on gaming, or, you know, not too long ago I was working on 3D modeling. I tried to make a Naruto 3D model. It was kind of successful, but also kind of not. I've worked on a little bit of game development with the WoW fighting game that I shared with you guys, and there's a whole video of, there's a game that I started working on using the Godot engine, which is this like indie engine that's like completely open source and free to use. I've done a few different other things, right? Like, you know, twice a year I do a cake for my kids that normally occupies at least like a couple of weeks of my time, anywhere from like a couple months of planning to up to 2 weeks of getting the actual preparation and the actual cake stuff done. This last one that I just did was the Thousand Sunny, which is the second ship of the Straw Hat Pirates from One Piece. That was a challenge of a cake to make, and I'm not super satisfied with how it came out, but it could have been worse, I guess. It just took a lot longer than I planned on. And my daughter's birthday coming up toward the end of the summer and the beginning of the next school year. My point in telling you guys that is that, like, there's just like always a lot of things that are occupying my time. And then another big thing is drawing, right? Like, a lot of you may or may not know that I draw a lot. Well, I used to draw a lot, and that occupies some time too, from, you know, just doing practice and warm-up drawings to doing like a full piece, or like a commission or something like that. Anyways, the point is that like my time gets occupied a bunch of different places, and it's really hard for me sometimes to just focus on one thing for a long period of time, and especially under the circumstances. Like, if I was able to focus on YouTube full time, then this wouldn't be a problem, right? But I can't. Like, it doesn't make money for me. So I do it as a hobby. What I like about YouTube, though, is that it does actually utilize a bunch of the different skills that I've taught myself over the years, whether that be video editing and graphic design, animation, writing, a number of different things. It allows me a creative engine to express myself about a lot of different things that I'm interested in. And I guess that's a good time for me to talk about the YouTube channel. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is that I'm not purposefully not making content. You know, with Multiverses being taken down offline and that being the main thing that I was making content about, and, you know, I started having some feelings about Multiverses on the whole. Not about like the game or like the developers or anything like that. There was just multiple factors that just kind of led me to producing less content for YouTube, and then moved me to doing other hobbies and stuff like that. And also, even if it weren't for those things, that's just how my hobbies work in general. My brain will just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go do this other thing over here. And it's just one of these things that I've struggled with ever since I was like a kid. So all that is to say, I do actually want to keep making content for YouTube. I've been having this itch in the back of my mind, like for like the last couple of months, that I want to do something on YouTube, but I just haven't been able to figure out what. And I started a couple months ago, like uploading some of the stuff that I've done on TikTok, like my drawings or like the cakes I've made for my son's birthdays. These last couple of years. That's not the same thing as like making regular content, right? Well, with Multiverses coming back out May 28th, it does make me feel a little bit more motivated, especially recently, because I love what they're doing right now. I love what I'm seeing from the Joker. I love a lot of the changes that seem to be being made for the game when it for its launch in terms of like gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. I'm starting to feel a little bit more of that hype again. But more than that, there's just like a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, that I want to make content about. So that gets me to the main point. I'd like to do the living roster again. It's more like, if I was going to do the living roster, if I was going to go back to doing it, I think I would do it a little bit differently. I think what I would end up doing is somewhat more similar to what I did before, where I would actually just fill out an entire prediction of my personal predictions, and then I would have you guys go along and help me evaluate each of those predictions on an episode by episode basis. So we might like look at 2 or 3 characters at a time instead of just focusing each episode on a single slot to fill. I don't know that for sure. I'm kind of like bouncing around some ideas in my head about it. There was the idea that I had a while back about doing a show called The Dreamcast, where we like imagine a character that might come into multiverses and what their moveset and everything might be. I'd still like to do that, but the production on something like that is super, super high. Unless I didn't put the effort in that in my head I feel like I need to. There's also a couple of like long form videos that I want to do, like video essay style things, specifically around like multiverses and the character design, because there were a lot of characters that came out after I did the masterclass, or that multiverses is a masterclass in character design video. There were a lot of characters that came out after the fact that further exemplified that. But then you've got the Joker that just got announced, and I'm certain there's going to be more characters. So I think that I want to make that video again, but I want to do that video with the full roster that's going to be with the game at launch. So I want to make that video. And there's one other thing that I want to do. I haven't talked to you guys about it, but I've been pretty open about it on things like Twitter or TikTok, which is that, which if you're not following me on TikTok, I'll put like a link or something if you want to. I don't do a bunch of crazy shit over there, but you can see some of the stuff I post there. And I do a lot of stuff with my son and my daughter there sometimes. Anyways, but the idea that I was having, or the idea that's percolating in the back of my mind, I don't know if that's a good word for it. The idea that I've been kind of sitting on is, I really want to talk about One Piece. My son and I recently started watching One Piece, or not that recently. Last year we started watching One Piece, and then we caught up within the year through all 1,000 episodes. Now we're caught up with the show and watching it as it airs. And now I'm watching it again with my wife, with a combination of like One Piece Kai, and then like the regular anime whenever there are episodes that haven't been filled in, and everything across the other two like more manga adjacent versions of the story. But in either case, I don't think I'd want to do One Piece conversations here, though. It doesn't seem like that's something that I should post here. But I wonder if that's something that you guys would be interested in me posting here. Because if I did want to do that here, I would just have to kind of section off exactly how I'm going to do it. But the other idea that I have is to make an alternative channel that's just about like my random thoughts on different things, probably mostly One Piece, but you know, there's some stuff going on with like WB and Disney that makes me think that there might be some DC Marvel stuff in the works. There's other stuff like there's things I like to talk about with like Naruto. There's a lot of things about like different debate topics and stuff like that as it pertains to different media franchises that I kind of would like to add my voice in, and I'd like to do some theory crafting about things like One Piece, since the story's still not over yet. And it would have been great to have that kind of channel, or a channel like that, to talk about when Akira Toriyama passed, which was like a really sad day. I was crying the entire day about it, off and on. So I don't know for sure that I'm going to start a second channel for that, but it seems like the best way to do it so that I don't mess with the community that I'm building here that seems to be mostly focused around multiverses. But if I do make an alternative channel, it'll probably just be called Spada, or something like Adventures with Spada, or Randomness with Spada, or Spada is Random, which is my TikTok name, stuff like that. Just because I have random hobbies and random interests and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's about as much as I can really fill you guys in. It's not very concise, and there's a lot of rambling here. I don't know how much editing I'm gonna do here. But just, this is for those of you that are interested and that wondered where I was and if I'm coming back and all the rest of that. The answer to those questions are, I was preoccupied with a lot of other stuff, which I went into detail about. And the short answer for the channel stuff is that yes, I am going to do content. I just don't know how or exactly when. I would say as long as I can get this video up before this next Monday, right now it's May 10th. If I get this up before May 13th, then I'll tell you now that you should expect to see a reaction video to the gameplay trailer for the Joker. That's supposed to come Monday. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank y'all for those of you that came to this video, and especially if you stuck around all this time to listen to me talk. I hope you guys are having a good time in your lives separate from everything else, and that everything's been going well for y'all. And I appreciate the continued support despite the fact that I'm all over the place with the way I post content. So thank you guys so much. If you guys have any ideas or any thoughts about the content I've made, or what content you'd like to see from me in the future, what the favorite kind of your favorite content that I've made is, feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and I will do my damnedest to at least take that into account when I start thinking about what I'm going to do next. But that's everything, guys. Y'all have a great one. Thank you for coming by, and I'll see y'all in the next video.